Well, hello YouTube, and a warm welcome to the New to Crypto channel. My name is Ian, and as always, I'm your host. Now, we didn't have a video yesterday because I was actually about working. I know, I couldn't believe it either. I was actually at work, so I didn't actually get a chance to do a video, but I left my house at like, I don't know, 5 o'clock in the morning or something like that, and then didn't get back to my house again until like just before the drop. So literally, I had just enough time to get in and sort of set up the Veve app for my wife so that both of us could, have a go at trying to get the drop, so that she could actually experience it as well, because it was her first drop yesterday. She never experienced it before, and I think from now on she's going to be carrying on with the drop, which is awesome because she's all excited about it. And she's got her very own YouTube channel now as well, just in case you don't know about it. She speaks in Spanish, so I'm not expecting most of you guys to go along and watch it or anything, but just to let you know, and I'll put her details in the comments below, so that if you feel like supporting her but maybe subscribing or something like that, giving her a thumbs up, then please feel free to do that. All I ask is that you don't click on the video and then click off it straight away, because otherwise the YouTube algorithm looks at it and goes, oh, nobody wants to watch this, and then her views go pop, 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 like that. So therefore, if you do like to subscribe to her or something, do it through the main the main page, as opposed to clicking on a video and going through that way. But anyway, I digress. Let's move on to some of the main news, and that is this first of all, and this is absolutely awesome. I was talking about this like literally just a couple of days on the channel a couple of days ago, and I saw This Is the Comic Way put up a video about it. There was another video, it's been discussed in Discord, all that kind of thing. I personally went and bought one of the Batman Who Laughs because I heard people talking about this, and I thought, you know what, I've always wanted one of these anyway, so I went and got one. I FOMO'd in on it, so to speak. I thought 33 gems, I think, whatever it was, 33 euros, whatever you pay in pounds, dollars, whatever it was. I thought that's all right anyway, even if this doesn't happen. And it's happened. Now it's a first appearance, because basically it's a fusion between the Joker and Batman. As I said, I won't ruin it by going to you, but I'll put This Is the Comic Way, I'll put the video in the description below, so that way you can go and see the video yourself. And basically the fusion between the two creates a completely different character. So therefore, although this was a Batman, in essence, it actually wasn't really a Batman, or isn't really a Batman, shall I say, and has now been given its first appearance flag, which is absolutely awesome for anyone who was following my videos and decided to, buy one anyway, or maybe you had one all along and you were just wondering why it was sitting in the market and not doing anything. So that's absolutely fantastic news, and of course it's happened to this one as well. Now, I had sort of an inkling it was going to happen to this as well, but basically this is a different kind of Robin compared to what the original one was, different person and all that kind of thing. Again, lots of people were speculating about this. So basically what they did was they took them both and gave them both first appearance, and now if you go to the market to try and get one of these, you'll see the floor has risen massively. So therefore, obviously they're worth a lot more now because they are first appearances. So do bear that in mind. There's a lot of them, like the Catwoman and Supergirl and all those ones. They're all first appearances as well, the first time these things have actually come into the app. So if you're new to Veve, quite a few of you probably watching now are, then be aware that FA's first appearances are infinitely more valuable than if you have, say, a Batman from season 4 versus the original first appearance Batman from season 1, because it's the first time they were ever seen in the app. Just like Superman is going to be a lot more valuable when another Superman comes out. It might be ultra rare, it might be rare, whatever it is, but the first one will always be the most valuable, just because of the way it is. So just bear that in mind if you are new to Veve. But anyway, so yeah, that's the news about that. Awesome stuff, and I'm glad I put it out on my channel so that people could maybe get one, and maybe get the floor price risen and maybe make some money from it. I don't know. This is the cool news. This is the awesome stuff. Now, I don't know a huge amount about these guys. I must admit, I'm not a small child. So therefore, and I don't have a little girl. I have a little boy who, incidentally, since I spoke about the Kung Fu Choppers, and I've been, I put it on for him to watch a little bit, has been requesting it constantly. And lots of people in the comments as well in the last video put, how they started watching it and were just enthralled by it. And it's absolutely brilliant. It really is a good show. And I'm really excited for it to come there, especially as I'm going to get some of those Kung Fu pork choppers. I don't care if they're rare, ultra rare, or whatever. I'm going to get them just so that my son has something to play with in the app, because he likes them anyway. He likes the Veve things. I think I've shown you a clip before where he was wearing the VR goggles. And for those of you who haven't seen that clip or don't know how to do it, you just stick a piece of tape over the top of your VR goggles on one side. That way the eye is completely blind. And then you can put the VR goggles in, put your phone in the normal area, put the VR goggles in, and you can look around. And if you cut a little hole in the front as well, you've got AR as well. So either way, you've got VR or AR. And he loves walking around the showroom and looking at Nessie and all that kind of thing. But if he gets the Kung Fu pork choppers, woof, it's going to go crazy, because he's been watching that show in Chinese I kid you not, in Chinese for like 3 or 4 days straight now, and he absolutely loves it. So, but anyway, I digress. So I haven't got a little girl, so I don't really know anything about these things here. But basically, laugh out loud, or LOL, LOL surprise, it's 707 upside down. So they're having a fierce celebration on the 7th of the 7th. They already had that. They had a concert. They had all these kind of things. So it was kind of crazy. And Micro Games America, MGA, is the people behind it, essentially. The largest manufacturer in the world of toys. And, I don't think it's going to do much to the price of the token of Omi, because of the fact that a lot of people don't really know the significance behind it. Now, incidentally, if you want to know the significance behind it and how much more it's going to affect, what's going on in Veve and stuff, then watch Taps Trades' video. Taps Trades has just brought out a brilliant video on it, and he put this up on Twitter. And just reading this bit here, according to the NPD Group, a market research firm, LOL dolls are outpacing the sales of Barbie, Pokemon, Nerf, and Marvel action figures. So that gives you some kind of idea how massive they are. And as I said, if you want to know more information about it, then go to Taps Trades' video. He's done a whole video all about it. It's absolutely brilliant. It'll really get you little insights that you wouldn't have thought of. And he's got some great videos anyway, Taps. So just go to his channel and just watch everything he does about Veve, because it's absolutely fantastic. And I will leave his link in the comments below. Let's move on to the next thing, and that is this. This was yesterday. And, we were talking about before, and a lot of YouTubers have been talking about it as well. So I'm not the only one. I'm not going to say I am. And they were saying about how, is it possible that Slimer could interact with the ghost trap? Now, I personally didn't get a ghost trap. Both myself and my wife tried pushing on the thing. Obviously, there was no clock gate. So, therefore, we couldn't use the clock gate method. So, therefore, it was literally a case of pushing on the button as quick as you possibly could. And, we didn't manage to get one. Now, we surmised even that it could be because, we're in Spain. There's a lot of thing about bots, which we'll cover in a second. There's a lot of different reasons as to possibility as to why you may or may not get it. I don't think any of these are properly founded in fact, essentially. I think this is just a lot of people summarising things from rumours that they've seen and things that might have possibly been the case, but they did address this a lot in the AMA last night, so we'll go over that in a second. But I thought I'd show you this really cool clip of Slimer actually involved in the with the ghost trap. So if you've got the ghost trap, then you can see it's absolutely brilliant. I turned it down so it's not too loud, but there you go. With the is it a Dyson on his back? I don't know what Hoover he's got on his back, but it's very funny. I especially like the point at the end there. There you go. Look. I'm the ghost man. So there you go. So you can see that Slimer does in fact interact with the trap, and it's absolutely brilliant. If anyone managed to get the ghost trap and you've got Slimer as well, that's just so cool. I think Taps Trades, in one of our things, he did try to do it with the Marshmallow Man, and the Marshmallow Man is too strong. He just didn't go into it. So therefore, but will it happen that other things can go into there in the future? Who knows what other Ghostbusters things they're going to bring out, other ghosts, that kind of thing. There's been a lot of speculation about what's to come, and it just looks awesome to me, all the stuff that's coming anyway. So that is the ghost trap. And then we had this whole thing about why people got it and why people didn't get it. And some people have been saying that people are using like a speed auto clicker. Now, this is essentially something that I suppose I didn't think of using, but maybe you could. Now, I don't think this is a bad thing to use. I don't think they've banned it or anything like that, or maybe they can't tell if you use it or what. I don't know, because this isn't essentially a bot, really. It's a speed auto clicker that basically means that you get to click faster. Now, I guess the issue with using this is if you click and then it carries on clicking, you can accidentally click cancel, which would be quite funny, because then you'd be really stuffed. So I don't know if it is possible to use these, but a lot of people have been saying, hey, who used an auto clicker to get it? And I think this is what they're talking about. Essentially, the auto clicker, as you can see, 50,000 times per second. So that's obviously faster than the human finger. So maybe people aren't using emulators and an entire load of bots, but they can use the auto clicker to therefore increase the speed that they can click the button. But I think that's all going to change, because from judging what they were saying in the AMA last night, they're going to change a few things. And I've got a few ideas for it myself. I thought I'd throw my hat into the ring as well, show you a few ideas that I've got. And see how we get on from there, essentially. So that's one of the ways that people are supposedly doing it, which is auto clicker. Don't know how true that is. Now, this is my idea here. Now, somebody said, I think it was Kay actually, he mentioned an idea, and a few other people have been throwing this around as well. First is the capture idea. Now, somebody in my comments actually said that bots get to know about captures. Now, I'll be honest, I don't know anything about like software engineering and bots or anything like that, because I've never looked into it. I did a bit of research on it, and I found that companies like Nike and all that kind of thing who do sneaker drops, they have trouble with bots as well. It's just a thing. Whenever there's money around, bots are made up, and they try to combat it, and no matter what they do, as soon as they combat it, then something else pops up that goes in its place. So I've been told that if you've got a really good bot, then you can actually bypass captures anyway. So therefore, maybe captures isn't a thing that would work, and it would just essentially increase friction for the user itself, and that's maybe why they haven't put it in. But then at the same time, I guess you could do some little things that maybe wouldn't get the really good bots, but it would maybe stop just the people who are using emulators with auto clickers. Because what I showed you just there before was like a speed clicker, but you can also get auto clickers. And there was a video that was put out of this on, I think it was on Twitter. No, there was a Twitter video showing different instances, but that wasn't necessarily showing you actually buying it. But then there was somebody else who put out a video showing you exactly what auto clicker you needed and all that kind of stuff. Now, should this information be put out there? I don't know. I'm sort of, you know, there's been a lot of people moaning about Ray Fixie, for example, because Ray Fixie got somebody sent him a thing saying, hey, I'll sell you 500 ghost traps. Now, this was before the drop, incidentally. I'll sell you 500 ghost traps beforehand. And then Ray put out a tweet saying, look, someone's just offered me this. Do something about it, Veve. Now, people were saying he shouldn't do that because it's FUD, and then others were saying that's great that he told everyone and blah, blah, blah. Now, my sort of thing on that is exactly the same as it was with the WoW, essentially, and that is that everything like this creates FUD. Now, it depends how you say FUD, because FUD is essentially fear, uncertainty, and doubt, but a lot of people seem to say it as, you know, like, oh, he's creating FUD, he's making FUD. Well, it's not that he's like lying about a situation, or they seem to say it as that somebody's lying about something, or they're creating something that's not real so that way they can manipulate a price or something like that. That's not essentially FUD. FUD is essentially fear of what you've got, or the uncertainty that creeps in because you read these things, because you see these things. So I'm not trying to censor information like what Cavell said that I was doing in one of his videos. He'd literally come out and said, you know, you're trying to censor information. I'm not like that. I'll give you all the information. Well, I will. I'll give you the information. But at the same time, some information will create FUD no matter what you do. You know, Clockgate, for instance. I was probably one of the first people to tell you about Clockgate. But I didn't do like a tutorial on how to do it, but I did tell you about Clockgate as far as I know before anyone else. So I'm not censoring information from you. I'm not trying to not tell you about these things. But for instance, like with Ray, for instance, when he put out about the 500 ghost traps, now just because someone contacted him and said, I can get you them, it doesn't mean to say they would have done. So therefore, he could have just gone to Veve and said, you know, oh, this is the situation, and then it would save that FUD that was around it. So not him actually creating FUD, but it does, like, it makes FUD, essentially. It's the only way to say it. And the same thing with the whale selling. You know, I said that it creates a lot of FUD. People know there's a whale selling in the thing. We don't know who it is. We can't prove anything. So therefore, trying to, you know, announce who that person is and try and show where they are and stuff doesn't really help, in my view. And that was just my view of it from the start. And I try not to do things to create FUD. If I'm going to think about something that may create FUD, then I start thinking, well, is there a way to combat this or change this or do something about it in a different way to avoid a lot of people knowing about it, so that then it could be fixed maybe behind the scenes, and then you can talk about it. Because if it's fixed or if it's out of the way, then people aren't as worried about it. But if you start talking about something that can't be changed and can't be fixed and you can't do anything about it, it's all very well saying it's freedom of speech and all that sort of thing, but not everybody wants to know these things as well. So, but, you know, I digress. So anyway, that's just my sort of view on it. And obviously, I'm probably going to get a lot of people who disagree with that, and I understand that completely. Like I said, freedom of speech and all that sort of thing. But on my channel, I'm going to try my hardest to not give you things that I think will create more FUD, essentially. Because there's no reason for that. But at the same time, I will try and give you information maybe in a different way so that you don't necessarily feel that you need to have FUD because of it, if that makes any sense. I don't know if I'm really explaining myself well there, but anyway, I digress. So here's my thing with the bots. First of all, there's a few things that they addressed in the AMA last night. They basically said that bots are a very small percentage, and I must admit, I kind of agree. I didn't manage to get a ghost trap. I know a lot of people in the Spanish forums were complaining they didn't, and they said, oh, it's all because of bots. And a lot of people on Twitter have been putting, there's this bot, this bot, this bot, this bot. And it probably may well be. But it doesn't necessarily mean, as Veve said, that they are using a bot script to do it. The other way to do it, which would be very, very simple, and that is for somebody who's really rich, and they would literally just hire a group of people to sit in a room on the phone, and then they would say, if you manage to get it, then you just send it to me, essentially. And then they've got 6 of these things, you know, or 8 of them, or whatever. And the more people that are going for it, the more chances you've got of getting it. So it doesn't have to be an auto clicker, it doesn't have to be any of that. So it could just be hired labour, essentially, to do it. You know, and anyone can set one of those up if they've got the money to do it. And the same with the person who said that lots of bots can bypass it. Well, yes, if you've got the money to pay for that bot and you're willing to pay for it, then that's the case. But then by raising the barrier of entry, you'll get less people doing it. So as far as I can see, if they can raise the barrier of entry just a small amount, then you will get less people doing the idea. And one of the ideas of Kay's or somebody else was to have like a screen like this white bit here, and to have the thing jump around. So basically what will happen when the buy button comes up, instead of it coming up directly where it would be, and therefore somebody could know where it was and program the auto click to push in that spot, the buy button appears in a random place. And you might say, well, okay, that's great. That's a fantastic idea. But see, there's a trouble with that as well. And that is that, for instance, if the buy button were to appear in a random place, then all you'd have to do is, because incidentally, when you click to buy, then what happens is that nothing happens until it lets it click down. So you can start hammering on that button, and then as soon as it gets to 0, if your finger just happens to hit it at the right time, you maybe get one, which is awesome. And I've seen videos of people doing it. I'm not saying that nobody gets them. I know several people who managed to get one. So well done to you. You did an awesome job. And, you know, I'm not saying lots of bots got them only and all that kind of thing. That's not true. But what I'm saying is that, for instance, if you were to program a bot with an auto clicker and 6 different places on the screen, because it doesn't matter where they click, it means that as soon as that button came up, no matter where it went, they could click it and it could simply come up. So my sort of idea for that, and again, I don't know if this can be bypassed. It probably can very easily by a very expensive bot or a more intelligent bot. But this is my sort of idea for it, and that is this: that you have 6 buttons, say, pop up, or how many have I got here? 5, beg your pardon, 5. 5 buttons pop up, for instance, but only one of them actually works, and that one is in green. So, for instance, in this case, what would happen is if you had an auto clicker and you wanted to program in those 5 locations, you know where the possible buttons are going to come up. But if you were to program in those 5 locations, if you were to say, for instance, let's say click on this one here, the second one, what happens is that comes up. Sorry, not this time. So therefore, it doesn't matter if you program all 5 in, because it's random, you don't know where it's going to come up. But however, if you were to click on this one, which is the green button, the only one that works, then instead would come up generating order, and the order would go through, or maybe it wouldn't, depending on whether or not you clicked in time. So basically, what I'm trying to say is not necessarily put a capture in or something that a bot can take out. And like I said, maybe they will be able to get around this. But as far as I can see, with the basics of bots that are not really bots, they're you know, using a script of, you know, auto click, and then they're using instances in BlueStacks, which pretty much anybody can set up if they know what they're doing. But then at the same time, there are people that are going to make a lot of money by sorting this out properly. So, but the thing is that they can ban bots. They can definitely do that. They've got software that's detecting it. They're detecting the way it clicks and all that kind of thing. So, you know, maybe people will get banned from that. But then you could say, well, they're creating every single new account. You can see there's one called Veve Scammer that's creating an account every single time, and then they're managing to get a bot. Obviously, they're managing to get one, and then they sell it straight away. And then once that's happened, doesn't matter if their account's banned, because then they just do the whole process again. So therefore, but we don't know exactly how they're using it. And they did say in the AMA that bots, there's hardly any, you know. So therefore, I don't think we have to worry about it. But if we raise the barrier of entry for how the bots are, like, if people can't use a simple bot to do it, then it means that the barrier of entry for using that bot is a lot higher, so it's harder to do. That's just my sort of, you know, thing on that. So maybe something like this, where if they click the wrong button, then it would come up badly. That way they can't pre-program it. They can only use, you know, if they've got some way of bypassing it. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know about software. This is just me throwing out ideas and stuff like that. And that's the way. But even if you got rid of all this stuff, you could still have someone who had enough money that they could hire a lot of people to sit in a room, and even, you know, it doesn't even matter about the server they're using or anything, because they could even just use their normal mobile phone with the thing. You just have them all sitting in the room, and you just have them clicking the buy button all at once, and say 50 of them in the room, pay them whatever it is, and then you say to them, send it to me, they send it to you, and then you sell it on. So, you know, it's, no matter what you do, I think you're always going to have this kind of thing where there's money to be made. People will always find a way around it. And I know that doesn't help and it doesn't make people feel better, but what does make me feel better is that they are addressing the situation. You know, everyone was asking last night in the AMA constantly, even though they answered it, it was constant. It was just like every single person had the same question. They addressed it very well, and they did say that what they might do is bring back the essentially clock gate for all. So they bring back the buy button, and then they still have the countdown. But the buy button is, if you click it too early, for instance, then you'll get the same thing as you got with Clockgate, which is you just won't be able to do the order. So it'll go through and say no. So therefore, there is that option as well. So, but, you know, when you were doing the Clockgate, you took a chance on the fact that if you hit the button and you hit it just too soon, you would lose that opportunity to be able to buy again. And therefore, it made it almost a game of skill. Whereas now, as the counter gets down, it's just a case of trying to hit that button before anybody else does. Now, I suppose you could argue they could do a lottery system where they just sort of pick a few people at random, but then what's the fun in that? Because then that means that you can click the button whenever then, can't you? You're not bothered about if you manage to get something because it's literally random. You could spend all day waiting for that thing. You click on the button, you click on it as fast as you can, and then it comes out and says, no, you didn't win this time. It's like entering a raffle, isn't it, essentially? And I don't think that's the way to go personally, but then maybe you've got different opinions on that. So yeah, feel free to let me know in the comments below and let me know what you know about bots, because like I said, I don't know anything about them, but I think maybe if we raise the barrier of entry to what bots can be used, then maybe that will work out better. But that's just my 2 cents on that. Thank you very much for joining us here today. As always, don't take this as financial or investment advice in any way, shape or form, because what do I know? I'm new to crypto. Bye-bye for now.